Mic test. Testing the mic. Let's check them levels. Look a little high, but tough to balance. All right, let's transition on in. Let's transition on in. Give it a quick listen. I hear music. I hear my voice decently. Alrighty, let's change headsets. They say power off. Alright. Okay. Well, howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Bullshit Corner 2.0, where we're going to get a little more work done on this insanely hot San Francisco afternoon. Been sweating up a storm today. Absolutely outrageous. It's just always hot. Always hot anymore, which sucks. Let's change this to all messages. And I think I'm settled in and ready to rock and roll on this little skinky boy. So it looks like purple is going to be the color on the Discord. I suppose I could give it one last little peek and see if anybody's put any last minute input. Where was that? It's right here. Looks like it was a close match between violet and orange. And I do think I agree with Iron Elemental. No. Another Nate mentioned purple is the color of magic, and he looks like a wizard lizard. He's indeed a wizard lizard. HQ choice. Magic boy. He's got a staff. So, yeah. That's what we're doing. Howdy, another Nate. Says, I don't know Warhammer lizards. I picked the one that's the hardest to say. That's fair. What's that? The Croxigore? Yeah, Croxigore is the big boy. I actually am more familiar with the lizardmen from Blood Bowl than Warhammer proper. And of course, you know, Warhammer isn't even a thing anymore. It's all Age of Sigmar now. Which I guess is just fantasy 40k? Kinda? But today we're working on a skink. A little skinky boy. I have no idea what this model does on the tabletop. I've never played Age of Sigmar. But, it's obviously a unit of some import, seeing as it is a skink that is on a 50mm base, which is a weird size for GW. Of course, I'm coming from old Warhammer, old 40k, where it's all, what was it? You got the 25mm bases and the 40mm bases that the Terminators were on, and then a 60mm, I think, which is what the Dreadnoughts were on, if I remember correctly. And flight stands and bike stands and all that stuff. Anyhow, I think we're gonna get a roll-in on this thing and try to get it painted today. Not sure how far we're gonna go. I think I'm game for about 4 hours again. Get some headway. And whether or not I get it done today, it's got to get done pretty soon. So let's start out by prepping our wet palette. And this here sheet is from the Moriarty paint up, and it's actually in pretty good shape. I think I'm going to hold on to that for another project that's not on camera. But we're going to hydrate the wet palette first. I always enjoy this part of the process. It's worth mentioning that you should always let your wet palette dry out if you're not going to be painting for a while, which I have not painted since that Moriarty stream. If you don't let your wet palette dry out, you could end up with mildew, and that is nasty. Okay, we'll get our foam hydrated. Slap down a piece of parchment over top. I think I overfilled it a bit. We're going to drain off a little bit of this excess water. There we go. And slap down a new sheet. Always satisfying. Might do another paint and time splash in the middle there. All right, so purple. This is a purple boy. So let's pick a good purple. Now I have a couple to choose from up here. I've got Hive Dweller purple and Magos purple, and I think the Hive Dweller's a little darker than what I'm going for here. And in fact, I think the Magos purple is a little lighter than what I really want to go for. So I think we're going to thin it out with a little bit of Vallejo Express Color Medium, which is gel-based. It might interact poorly. For that matter, I think maybe we won't use that, but instead use the proper contrast medium. At least it matches up nicely. Hopefully it won't have any weird interactions. In any case, I think what we're looking at, let me just pause this video here. I think what we're looking at is attacking this thing, just getting a good all over purpling on the lizard first, which there's actually not a whole lot of space to cover. Damn, that gap is still there from last night. But yeah, we'll hit this, get that going, and then it'll be drying down while we put the gray on the stones. And my Army Painter Speed Paint starter set came with a nice gray, Gravelord gray, which will work really well as a base tone for the rock. Okay, so let's actually get rolling then. We're gonna start with our Magos purple. So show it to the camera. Show this to the camera. I want to put some out. And I usually like to use the back of my paintbrush for this application, so I don't get any in the barrel for later. I think 5 drops, maybe 6 drops ought to do it. Okay, so we'll put some of that down, and then I usually go with a dropper, a pipette, to get my contrast medium. And I think we'll go 2 to 1. So we'll do 3 good drops of that. I know it's not exactly 3 to 1 because I'm not getting clean drops, but roughly 3 to 1 or 2 to 1. Just the Magos purple in its pure form's a little more intense, a little too dark, I think, for the skink here. He's a smaller boy, so as follows the rules for orcs, I think the smaller feller should be brighter, or towards the brighter side. All right, we'll get our Magos purple. I'm planning on doing traditional highlighting, of course, but we'll use these contrast paints to get a good baseline. Ooh, damn! Just whacked the hell out of that camera. Did it again. No. I'm filming here. All right. Okay, so we want to start with our 3-round. I like this brush a lot because it's got a nice fat belly and it holds a decent tip, although it's starting to get a little frayed. I think I have some brushes on the way to replace them. Let's see here. Let's get a rolling. Is that in frame? I mean, it's blowed out to hell because it's white. But, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to take our thinned Magos purple and just start applying it as carefully as we can over all the lizard skin areas. I elected against adding a black wash to this yesterday because I figured I'm going for that, like, you know, jungly, rainforesty, bright color palette on this thing, and I need the colors to really pop and have some shine to them, kind of avoiding the grimdark stuff. And the contrast will be, not the contrast paint, but the contrast applied to the colors will be achieved with the stone, I believe, because this Gravelord Gray goes on really dark. It's almost as dark as a black contrast color. And once again, this is over Stynel Res White Primer. 2 total layers. And it's... I don't know what's wrong with my batch here. I think I just need to really take some time and shake it and get it stirred really well, because it went on really thin, and it's got like a hard coat to it, a real smooth coat, instead of a nice toothsome layer for the paint to grab onto. That's fine. It seems to be working all right, and it'll probably help the contrast paint flow like we want it to anyways. And this is going quick, as is expected. You know, I'm not going to go as far as to say that everybody should use contrast paint. There's still place for non-contrasty colors. Non-contrast techniques, I should say. But man, it is so awesome to see this paint just go on so smooth and do so much heavy lifting in one clean application. It's getting a little small, so let's switch out to a smaller brush. I think we're going to go with this 2 now, stepping it down a size. sounds like the solids have separated. Yeah, exactly. I guess that tends to happen when you order your paint from Amazon from time to time. Been sitting in a warehouse for Lord knows how long. Gonna need to give it a few minutes on the vortex whenever it shows up. Let's see if I might have one that's not shook up yet. Maybe not. They were definitely separated pretty bad. And, you know, sometimes when it gets separated for a long amount of time, it just don't want to reconstitute. I guess. Once again, me pretending I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, I like this like pinkiness that's going on here with this super light purple coat. It'll let us put another layer on and build up the tones where we want. I think I'm also going to get out the aethermatic blue here in just a second and apply it to the belly. Try and get a blend of that. I don't think I've tried that color out yet, but it should be fun. I'm planning on using it for my spiral core, which is an infinity army. Gonna go for like a blue and orange, I think, on them. All right. Really carefully get this purple up to the fins, but not on them. Should get it over the jaws. And we'll go back here in a bit and put some purple onto the what do you call them? The fin spines. Here in a bit. But next I want to put on some aethermatic blue. And that is up here somewhere. I almost regret setting up my paint shelf like I have, because I have to stand up to get stuff down. Probably wouldn't hurt to give it the old wang jangle with the stick first. Vortex won't liquefy a large puck of powder. You know, that didn't even cross my mind, and yeah, it's so obvious. It's right in front of my face. Good tip. Thank you, another Nate. As always, your hobbyist advice is well appreciated. All right, let's get some aethermatic blue. And I haven't tried this out yet. So I think what I need to do is put a little splotch of it on the base and see how it performs before I commit to thinning it down. Might even be worth talking about in the video, this here thought process. So I'm gonna grab a little bit and, oh yeah, it's super light. No thinning necessary. So we're gonna thread the needle here and get this aethermatic blue onto the belly and the chest up underneath. And it's fine if the edges mix a little bit. I might even intentionally mix a little bit here in a moment. I almost needed to have sub-assemblied the sub-assembly here. It's wild. It's kind of hard to fit the brush in between that arm there without touching it at least. Okay. There we go. And we'll apply a little bit to the fins. I don't know if that's got a different word for being on a lizard. Is a crest, I guess? Like, isn't that like the crested basilisk? Yeah. And then there's the... What is that flap on the chin of an anole called? That's kind of what it makes me think of. All right. Get some contrast on these bits. It's a little splotchy, but I think that's to be expected with this smooth surfaces. A little bit of the chest has been missed, so try to thread the needle here. Damn, that is a hard angle to get into. Okay. Alright, we got some foundational purple and teal on here. You could call that teal. I think we'll mix a little bit of the two right here. Make a bit of a border color while it's still wet. And yeah, I'll put some there. And while this dries, we're going to kick on over to the crest or frill. Frill sounds lizardy. It's like, is a frill specifically the under chin thing? Like, the anole or the, what's that dinosaur from Jurassic Park that's not actually a dinosaur? Dilophosaurus? Is that what it was? Sounds right to me. I could be wrong. Alright, so moving forward, while that dries, we're going to get back out our 3 round and apply a little Grave Lord Gray to this stony thingamabob. And we're going to try to not get the gray onto the vegetation. And this is going to serve as a nice foundation for later work with the stone. Which I plan on doing some highlighting on. It may look really bad, actually, now that I'm putting it on there, but we can at least get the black in the crevices before going back to build up the grays. Probably could have hit it with like I don't know, an all over gray and then a gnome oil wash instead. Might have been better. But it's fine. It's the worst that could happen. We just gotta repaint it. This brush has just about had it. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with these little decorative places. I'm thinking gold. Might do it with the old Iron Man method, where you hit it with the metallic color first and then go over top them with a colored contrast tone. Not sure. Kind of making it up as I go here. I don't really have a plan outside of leaves green, lizard purple. That's about as far as I've got thinking about it. Tell you, I can't believe how dark this gray is. Okay. I think we're just gonna go all over with this and then clean up spots with opaque color. Way I don't spend too much time trying to be super neat about this application. Notable exception, we're gonna leave this center section unpainted and pristine white, and I'll go back in with a nice greeny tone. I think hit it with that warp stone, warp lightning, I think, the GW green contrast, and then I can probably get away with repainting the vegetation with a solid color, now that I'm thinking about it, instead of trying to contrast them. So for that, we'll just hit this real quick then. Just nice rapid fire, quick rough and dirty stonework. Thinking I might even just dry brush it when this dries and then hit it with another wash. It's kind of black, not gray. But you know, that's experiment with paint in a nutshell. Okay. Let's just coat this thing. So much for being careful. It's fine though. And then once I get this on, our little boy in purple should be dry enough to receive another layer of work. I was kind of envisioning just like painting the vast majority of this with contrast paint. And now that I'm doing that, or once I started applying this layer, I'm realizing that it's better to just include some traditional methods in there. Opaque colors and whatnot. Alright, that looks like decent coverage. I'll let that dry. Go back to our boy. Right back over to the 2-round. And mix this back up. We're gonna hit certain spots with another layer of the Magos purple. Try and pump up the shadows. Namely, like the underside of limbs. Anywhere that would be getting heavy shadow. Just pump it up some and leave the uppermost facing portions in the lightest version of this purple. Hope that's in frame. I can see that it's super washed out with the white balance, just not knowing how to compensate for the white primed model. A little more contrast here and there. Some on the hand. A whole bunch more on the face. That's all in shadow, so we're just going to do a whole second layer over top of it. Okay, and now I keep failing to actually hit record on this camera. That is the 4th person who's gotten pulled over at this intersection in the last 30 minutes. I don't know if y'all heard the cop siren just now. Squelching his thing, talking over the loudspeaker. Evidently that intersection out my window is hot for people breaking the law.
Access granted.
Alright, there we go. Now, here comes a tedious part of trying to get this thing to focus. I'm going to use this here 3O brush and try and get the Magos purple on just these spines. Might not really be doable with contrast. I'll have to use the highlight color that we'll switch to in a bit. I think it's working all right. Not quite good enough, but close. There's some purple on it at least, which is a good starting point for later. All right. Looks decent. I'm gonna go back to letting that dry, and we're gonna do how about an orange cape? I think that'll work. Fire giant orange, getting showed to the camera. Putting a few drops out. We'll swap back to our 2 round and start coloring this cape. I don't know if there's any other cloth on it. The thing on his, thing on his like loincloth situation is cloth. It's got some metal bits on it, but we can pick those out later with opaque colors. I'm just thinking bright, gaudy, contrasty, loud colors. And as much corner cutting as possible. I see another bad gap there I didn't fill. Oh well. Too late now. Oh, all these bubbles are gonna drive me insane. You know, I'm not really sure at this point if I like speed paints or contrast better. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. A little caveat there as well. I've only worked with the speed paint originals. I haven't tried the 2.0 where they addressed the reactivation issues. Though I personally think that the reactivation can be used to your advantage for like later blending. So I'm generally a fan of it. In fact, I think when this set starts running low, I'll just look around and try to get another set of the Speed Paint 1.0. Welcome, Box Fox Scoot. Kobolds are best Liz. I absolutely agree. Big fan of kobolds. They got the little doggy noses. Historically, I've played a fair amount of Dungeons and Dragons over the years, and my character is almost always a incarnation of this kobold that I've named Iswal. Always a rogue, but in different flavors for different campaigns. Let's see. One of my favorites, we played 5th Ed, and I was trained in deception and persuasion and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. The one before that, we played 3rd edition, and I played with the feat called Monkey Grip, which let me use weapons that were a size class larger than my size. So I was getting sneak attack damage with full human-sized weapons. It was a lot of fun. And the one before that was just an archer, I think. And the original incarnation was 3rd edition and used a spiked shield as its sneak attack weapon. Fox Scoot. Personally, though, I've never liked the AOS lizards. They're too dinosaur-y. Yeah, I mean, they're straight up dinosaurs, really. It's definitely, they're models I'd never paint. Not something I'd willingly seek out if it weren't for this challenge here. This collab effort with Pega Neko. Which hoping to have the video out this coming weekend. Doing a little playful back and forth, and not sure if we're gonna mutually talk about each other's work on the videos, but we'll be releasing a fun crossover piece. Should be fun. Should be real fun. Looks like most of this is covered. I was going to go on to putting the green on, but there's a few edges here that need a little bit more of this Gravelord gray. Sounds like the traffic is picking up outside, which sucks. All right, what's the next color here while things are drying? I think, well, for one, I missed a little bit of orange right here. I think I want to get some a darker purple on the scales, if I can manage it right now. I think that's what we're gonna do. All right, so next color. We're gonna get out this here, turn on the camera, and get a little bit of this Hive Dweller purple. And I don't need much, just a couple drops. Should be substantially darker. At least I'm hoping so. I'm going to put it on these, like, on the scales here, the scales on the shoulders, and maybe on the toenails. Talons, I suppose they are. Oh, that's so dark. I maybe should have thinned that down. It's fine. It's fine. Can always repaint it. Alright. Darker scales here. Scale borders are actually kind of indistinct on this feller. Might need to just paint some spots on it, I think. Oh, this is so dark. It's black, basically. This was a mistake. It's fine. Just going through its ugly phase. I think we'll just take some of it and do little spots as well. Little spots. God, I cannot believe how black this purple is. Put some on the neck here. coming up the head. It's fine. It's all hunky-dory. Some coming down the leg. Go back to the other side. Little dots. You know, GW is usually pretty good about making clearly defined details. But the borders of these scales are leaving a lot to be desired. Kind of disappointing. I guess it's not a problem for a better painter, but for a middling artist like myself, I see where it's a little problematic. So, to compensate, I'm just going to put spots. I'm going to try to make up for it with spots. And we'll put some spots on the top of the tail too. Water it down. Yeah, I should have. I should have. I was expecting it to be a little less dark, but that's fine. We'll take advantage and use that contrast with these thingies here. 20 bits. Yes, yes, indeed. It wouldn't be a GW project without spiky bits everywhere. Yeah, I think that looks decent, especially on the tail there. Somewhat alright recovery. Plus, we're gonna go back in with a nice highlight here in a bit. And now we'll use this same dark purple for the talons. God, it's so dark. I wonder if this color has concentrated in by sitting up on the shelf and going unused. Maybe getting too much direct sunlight or something. Although I don't think it gets direct sunlight. Alright, let's see if I can't see these thumbnails. God, they're so tiny. Holy moly, those are tiny details. I'm definitely getting to the point where, like, I'm struggling with smaller details in my age. Really sucks. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. We got some dark purple contrast on the purpley bits. What's next? I think what's next is gonna be Warp Lightning green on it. See, this is why paint orcs can't have an ugly face if it's already ugly. Hell yes. I am looking forward to doing some orcs. I got my second edition box set for Warhammer 40k. And it comes with 20 orc boys and 40 Gretchen. So it'll be a blast to paint those up. Though there's no possible way I'm going to manage to get them done inside of October and film it and make a video about it. I just got too much on the plate. So gonna miss October for it this year. That's fine. Can't do everything. Wah, welcome 50 yen. Wah, indeed. I might have to try and do something orky. Maybe a solo model or something. I don't know. Time's a burning. And I I don't think I can manage it. I got this major art assignment coming up for my Art 600 course. And that is going to eat a lot of time. It's not a... so the class is Art 600 Professional... What's it called? Can't remember the name of it exactly. It's like Art 600 studio process and professional practices or something like that, or professional process and studio practices. Basically, it's to prepare you to be an artist in the art world and or move on to graduate studies. And part of the course is developing a pretty comprehensive artist statement and a portfolio and your website and business cards. And another big focus of it is producing up to 2 works for a gallery exhibition at the university. And we have till the 31st to produce a piece of art for it. Like studio art, like gallery style stuff. And I'm sweating it, to be honest. So I put the poll up on the Discord to talk about that a bit. I'll be streaming working on that. It's not miniature art, but it'll be fun nonetheless. Skinktober. Yes. I could call it Skinktober. I'll put that hashtag in it at least. I'll be the only one. One of my friends is an orc he uses as test subject for painting techniques. I have my own test subjects. I might have some handy. Once I get this green on, I'll pull it out if there's any nearby. I'm gonna go with this warp lightning green for the magic-y bits. And I see that I left some... I'm jumping the gun on this a bit. I shouldn't have rushed into it, but that's fine. All these little problem areas will get taken care of when we go back in with the opaque colors. All right. So my test subjects, paint techniques. Let's see if I got some right here in the old ancient case. It's my original army case here. Used to keep my Space Marines in it. And now it's kind of a repository for junk. I am wrong. I don't have any in there. Shit. I don't know where they're at. Well, I am an avid user of the Dollar Tree. And I like to go there for a few things, like, you know, they got pickles in the jar for $1, and they got this and that, and they got LA's Totally Awesome, and they have these little containers of Mod Podge for $1. So when I go there, I make sure to stop by the toy section and grab those bags of Army Men. Little plastic Army Men. They're great. I see a lot of people testing like airbrush techniques on the back of spoons and whatnot, but why just work on a smooth surface when you can get something that kind of performs like a model? They've got enough detail that you can test out colors, you can test out ink washes, you can test out what am I thinking of? My brain just shut off for a second there. Contrast paints, dry brush techniques, etc. they have enough detail to that'll show up on them. So yeah, get yourself a bag of army men next time you're at the dollar store or thrift store or something. Big recommend. Plus you can, you know, strip them and paint them again if necessary. Okay. So from here, I'm not really sure exactly how to advance. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put a little more of this warp lightning on the leaves here. And that'll serve as some foundational green before we go back and put the moot green over top. Might start with Warboss green. Wow, this is a detailed model. Not sure exactly how far we'll get today, honestly. But we'll make some headway. I'll post some pictures in the Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, check out the description to this video. There's a link in there that should get you on there. I suppose I could share it in the chat, but I need to walk over here to the main computer to do that. Locust Labs, Superhero Landing, welcome, welcome. Hope all is well, and the hobby work is going spectacularly for you as well. This is a piece for collaboration effort between myself and Peganeko. For those of you who aren't in the know, Locust Labs puts out some really, really fabulous STLs for Battletech. You check them out over on Patreon. For just a couple of bucks a month, you can get access to some really fantastic monthly releases. The designs are somewhere in between classic Battletech and Catalyst Games modern stuff. I'm sure it'd blend equally well with both the old school Iron Wind metal stuff and the new stuff. Big recommend. Country Fried Minis approved. Check them out. In fact, Locust Labs did the Hunchback for the big Hunchback project. Y'all don't know? I think I put ample mention in the video. But for those of you who don't know, you want that awesome Hunchback. That is the producer. Hello, hello. I'm waiting on people to answer me on work requests, so I'm like relaxing right now. Oh, nice. Also on vacation. Well, I hope your vacation is going fantastically. I know I could use one myself, but we'll have some break time coming up soon. We got the Thanksgiving break for class, and then right after that is, you know, just a couple weeks, and then the semester's over, and I can actually breathe again. I think I mentioned it before. I am a senior at this point, working on my bachelor's degree. I'm halfway through the first half of the last year, quarter of the way through, and I desperately need a break from classes. I've been going at this degree for far too long now, taking a little extra time, taking advantage of the grants. Of course, as a consequence, I've gotten to take really cool courses. Took a bachelor's in what? I am going for a bachelor's of fine art degree. Not sure how useful it will be, and honestly, I'm not really eyeing looking at using it for a career, because ideally, I'll turn this YouTube thing into a full-time job. Which is what I really want to do at this point. I think it'll be a blast. I think my hopes for doing YouTube as a career is if I could make minimum wage. That's what I'm looking at. If I could do that, that's good enough for me. I don't need a ton of money to be happy. I just need to do something fun. Something that doesn't feel like I'm slaving away for a corporation. Although that's explicitly what doing YouTube stuff is begging for tips and making money from corporate ad interests. That and using it as a platform to, huck your own art. Lux Labs, I'm like debating on an arts or engineering degree, but like I could probably learn it myself at my own pace while doing Lux Labs full time like I am right now anyways. So as far as an art degree goes, as far as usefulness, very low. I mean, what job are you going to get on an art degree, really? There's not much there. That said, in pursuing this art degree, I've gotten to take some really cool courses that I wouldn't have access to otherwise. I took 4 semesters of figure drawing and it was really cool. Drawing the human form off of live nude models, fantastic. Really gives a understanding of depth and volume and anatomy. Like I know you can get into those kind of classes or sessions, like paying for them individually, but like having a professor help guide you through the techniques involved was really awesome. I took a lithography course, which was really fantastic. It's definitely something that like you wouldn't get access to if it weren't for like a college campus or degree. That said, art degree is not going to end in a job, most likely. Do with that what you will. Personally, I'm very enriched by this art degree, but I'm also in a lot of debt. And that sucks. My prospects for ever paying that off are not very high. I hate math. Not really, I just hated high school math. I started my degree in the same boat back in... Shit, when did I start? Fall of 2017. I signed up at City College. I took a few extra semesters because I needed to recover the math in my brain. Been a long time since high school. And I kind of stopped caring at the end of high school. So I took some remedial math courses. I went through pre-calculus, pre-cal, geometry, and there was another course. I can't remember. And they were great. They were very enriching. I definitely think there's something to be said for going back to school a little bit later in life. Because I'm in my 30s, so like having the drive and the patience to do it is kind of awesome. Definitely a better experience than the couple of semesters I took out of high school back in 05, 06. University is free in Germany, mainly anyway, $160 or so per semester. Fuck, shoot, lucky. You know, there's good programs out there. If you look around, I lucked out myself in that the City College of San Francisco is free to residents. And then you can apply for the Pell Grant here in the US, and that's like $3,000 a semester or something. And because you're not having to pay for anything besides books, it's mostly just going in your pocket. It's almost like getting paid to go to class. But I live in San Francisco and I don't work a normal job, so you know, I went down the student loans route, which netted me a lot of comfort and ability to attend classes in the short term, and in the long term has stuck me with a fuck ton of debt. But yeah, school's cool. Could have gone for a game design, mostly programming degree, started this year, but I decided against it to pursue Locust Labs further in case I wasn't because I was enjoying it so much. And I'm getting close to minimum wage, maybe another 50 or so patrons, best another 100, then I'll be secure just on patrons. Yeah, and honestly, the work you're doing is insane. It looks great. It prints really well. I think you've got a really good foundation, and from the outside looking in, it seems like you've got a good, dedicated community, enough to you know, put some heat in the fire of your production. I hope you stick to it for sure. I'm a fan, and you definitely have my support. I personally really dig it seeing folks actually make something of their art. There's a few avenues in which art can be productive, and I think stuff like what you're doing, like 3D miniature design, mini painting is a valid way of selling art. Tattoo can be a really good, realistic way to sell art in this modern world. Otherwise, you're looking at like getting lucky and making the right connections, which kind of sucks for you know, quasi-social folks. Fox, oh, your Locust Labs. Holy shit. That's good. I think that is an accurate statement. All right, so we got our green on here. We got a nice foundation for the plants. They're gonna get lifted up with some Warboss green and some Moot green here in a bit. I think we're gonna do like these symbols here in golds. This will be gold. I think these are gonna go gold. So maybe it is time to start putting some gold on these models, or on these portions of the model. Actually, we want to get this in this matching gray first. That's what we're gonna do. Let's pop this down again. Really, at this point of the process, I'm just doing like all this contrast stuff is kind of foundational before we switch over to the opaque colors, taking advantage of that white prime job. All right, so let's get this thing the same gray as the base, the pedestal. I don't know what you'd call that thing. Kind of like a palanquin, right? Does a palanquin have to be carried by some kind of servant or beast of burden to be a palanquin? Is the mystical energy force that's levitating the stone, does that count as the beast of burden to lift your palanquin? I think a case could be made for saying that. Let's get the gray on this, and then I think I'm going to go back and hit all the vines and such with a brown of some color. Maybe snakebite leather. I think I have that color. I have wildwood, but it's like almost black. It's so dark brown. I don't think it'll work. I guess it's worth mentioning at this point too that, like, if you're not much of a mini painter, if you're like a beginner or very middling, like, this is a good example of how you could just slap some contrast paint on stuff and have things like to a perfunctory level. So big recommend there if you're a total beginner. Another Nate, my aunt is an oil painter. She sells a lot of prints at Dragon Con. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you find a good avenue, a good place to make connections, like-minded people, that's pretty awesome. I want to go conventions with my minis once I can print them at home. Print like a few hundred minis and sell them for $6 to $8 a piece at a booth would be so cool. Yeah, $6 to $8 seems low, in my opinion, for your work. If you got some really good bases that printed out clean with them, I'd go higher than $8. Are you excited for the new Army Painter paint line they're bringing out? You know, I haven't looked at it at all. I saw an ad for it and then didn't look into it all. Wait, as long as it's a chair and it walks for you, it counts? I'm so confused. Another Nate. I'm very confused at this statement you've laid before us. I have no idea what you're talking about. You lost me there. Let's do not wildwood. I'm gonna have to stand up, damn it. Drag yellow. Snakebite leather. There we go. Snakebite leather. Well, quite frankly, if I charge, let's say, $11 per mech at the con, or even 10 once I covered the price to reserve the booth, I'd be making like $6 to $8 a mini. Yeah, that makes sense. I base that on what I've been charging for my painting commissions. So right now, and I am shilling for my stuff right now because the prices are going to go up. At this current moment, you can head over to my Fiverr page, link in the description, and get yourself a custom set of mechs, set of 4, full lance. I do a 3D printed tabletop plus level painted set, $75 painted, shipped to your door. Super low price. I put that price in there to kind of entice people into it and to offer competitive. I also, for 100, I'll do a catalyst set. And in setting these prices so low to be competitive and to put something on offer that looked really enticing, I have found that it's been quite popular. And now I'm in the boat of, I've got this product and the price needs to go higher. And based on the quality of the work, as of January, I will be doubling my prices. So, that said, there's two parts to this conversation. One is don't undervalue your work, because my work is definitely worth $150 for a set. And two, if you want to get your own models painted by yours truly here at Country Fried Mini, shipped to your door, check out the Fiverr link and submit an order before the end of the year, because as of January 1st, I'm going to be doubling the prices. Honestly, I'm probably going to raise my price for commissions again at the start of the year. Yeah, exactly. You know the quality of work that's coming out, and you know how much time is going into it. And like, it's really easy to want to offer people a good deal. And in doing so, you can often like undervalue your work and end up getting underpaid. And you'll produce a product that you're proud of, but then you're like, your wallet kind of hurts from putting that effort in. Must be behind. Another Nate. Yeah, you might be a little behind. Box Fox Scoot, welcome to the Shill Zone. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of Patreon. Some better, some worse. Yeah, you get more people because it's a good deal, but you're not making what you should. But yeah, exactly. That and some of the projects like turn into like a surprising amount of work depending on the little extras you include. Like I have a supply of these fighting piranha numbers. So I go as far as to do the basing and put numbers and weathering on the models, because you know it looks good and it's easy to do and it doesn't take all that extra time. But like in the end, it's like the price you get for your work is just not great when it comes out to like, you know, $5 an hour or whatever. That said, like I don't need a whole bunch of money personally to be happy. I do live in San Francisco. And I have my own spot and I'm not, you know, sharing the rent with a roommate or anything. So, you know, Papa's got to eat. I actually want to raise my Patreon price because it has 3 models a month now, but I'm kind of locked into it, so I probably never will. I need about 1.2K a month, including potential car money to be entirely self-sustained. You know, that's really doable. Have you thought about including a tier in your Patreon that is basically like the top tier plus? Like basically it straight up says you don't get anything special, but you really believe in the cause, and if you want to contribute more, here is this option for you. I think Millennial Model Mayhem does something like that, where like the top 2 tiers are basically the same, but the highest tier is just, you know, a way for you to give more and show a little more support. I'd recommend something like that. But then again, you know your business. And I trust that you will make it exactly what it should be. On the topic of this painting, we are on to the snakebite leather contrast. So my thinking here is I'm going to put this over all of these twisting vines and whatnot. And then I'm also going to put it on all the little bits that are going to be gold. And that'll provide some nice contrast to the yellowy metallic tones that are going to go on later. Oh, come on, focus, camera. Plus, putting this on kind of lets me see where I can put a little more green on. Making some progress. I think we're also going to put the brown as a base tone onto these horns. And that way all the earthy colors are going to be kind of unified with a cohesive base tone. And bring the palette together. You could haven't, and I don't know what I tried. Ooh, I missed some chat here. Okay, you can split the models across tiers. I haven't, and I don't know what I charge for that. Another thing, I do, but the highest tier just gets one extra cool model from time to time. So does Neil at Real Terrain Hobbies, a $1 no bonus tier. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And from what I understand, Patreon gives like 85% of that earned income to the creator. It's really a good way to do it. What do you think of the new Army Painter paints they revealed recently? I'm aware of their existence. That's about it. I'm generally a Vallejo guy now. Citadel user for years, and a secret lover of Apple Barrel craft paints. I love me some Apple Barrel. It tends to be a little chalky, tends to be poor coverage, but certain colors are just so good. My my Candy Core, my personal Infinity Army, is all painted with, well, not all, but the primary colors are Apple Barrel. It's this one, and it is Apple Barrel, bright magenta, and turquoise. Got a little bit of latency there. These colors, fantastic. The bright magenta is not super great coverage. Turquoise has really good coverage. But these colors are like, I have not found these tones exactly as they are in another paint line. These are just, they're really good. And they are the colors of the Candy Core. I might have one handy somewhere. No, maybe not. But yeah, there's I think it's worth it to try out different brands. I might have to look into the old Army Painter for their new stuff. They look vibrant. I mean, so I saw an ad for them pop up on my Google feed on like the homepage deal when I opened up Chrome. I want to say it was like Bell of Lost Souls or something had a link for it, and I didn't look at it at all. But some vibrant stuff in the line would be good. I do like bright colors. Generally a fan. Okay. Put some browns down. Get these tree trunkers painted up. Got all these hanging vines and whatnot. You know, I almost regret not going full slap chop with this. Now at this part of the process, I was kind of thinking that the focus was going to be so heavily skewed towards super bright, vibrant tones that I thought that the slap chop base coat would be bad for it. And now, as always, the contrast paints just like they do so much work. I might have to do a slap chop project next. Plus, you know, put slap chop on it and people will click on it. They're less than $1 at Walmart. That is true. Apple barrel paints are like 74 cents or something per bottle. They're absurdly cheap. Of course, we don't have a Walmart here. I think the nearest Walmart for me is San Leandro, maybe. I think it's San Leandro. It's like a 20-minute drive. So I generally don't, because I live in SF where we don't have the big department stores and everything's marked up because, you know, the city's expensive. I tend to order my cheap stuff on Amazon, which kind of sucks for showing support of businesses, but, you know, it is what it is. I even order food off Amazon. Order like beans and stuff by the case, canned foods. Okay, so I am making some progress here. I think I'm actually going to coat these little dangly bits too, because they're going to be gold. So we'll start with that like nice brown base coat, and that way when I hit it with the Retributor armor, I think, can't remember what gold I have. I have a GW gold that has just really piss poor coverage. GW metallics, boo, they are bad. Do not work well at all. I'd use the I'd use my Vallejo metal color, but I don't have a gold. And I'd rather not risk putting the silver on and then painting it with translucent over top. I'd rather use the gold metallics and get some highlighting on them. Okay. I think these things are supposed to be stone, and I missed them earlier. Box Fox Scoot, I just buy whatever the fuck paint I got. Testers, Craftanitas, all-purpose deco art, and shit I don't even know about. I love that approach. You'd never know how a paint is going to treat you until you try it. And if you just go, oh, that looks neat, and pick it up, well, then you end up with some paint. And sometimes those like risky purchases, those out of your comfort zone snags are worth it, because you end up learning about a paint product that serves you really well. That's how I know about the Vallejo metal color. I was at one of the local game stores on a game day and just picked some up on a whim, and it has really changed my metallics game. entirely. I need to pick up a gold one or a copper. They have a coppery color. Mix yellow ink into VMC silver to make gold. Yeah, I need to get some yellow ink, actually. It's another one of those things. I do have the yellow, what you call it, speed paint, and it does a pretty good job of making it look gold. That's what I did on the Armored Core project. Let's see, and I actually glued this thing to get back together after the end of that episode, but I don't know if it's going to show up on camera here. Let's see if I can't point it out. All this, let's see if I can get a good angle on it. All this gold here. There's a little bit of latency. I'm waiting on it. No, it's still not quite there. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. Yeah. All these bits are just silver, metal color silver with a yellow ink over top. And there's some sponge chipping and then an oil wash at the end, of course. But this one was fun. Nightmare of a model. Really, really fragile. And I did do that gimmick where I throw the model and it exploded into a million pieces. It was a nightmare to put back together as well. Box Fox. I also don't want to drop $70 on a pack that's like 8 browns and a purple. That is completely understandable. Let's see. The last box I bought was the one that's covered in the Hunchback video. The what was it? The Panzer Aces camouflage set by Vallejo was a really good set, and it is definitely camouflage colors. It's a bunch of drab greens and browns, but like I needed those in my collection, and it was $35. I think it was $35, and I got 16 colors and a paintbrush in it. Well worth it. Okay, where are we at? We are still putting down snakebite leather. On all these roots, building up a nice foundation, and then we'll go back in with some kind of nice highlighty color here in a bit. How far in are we? An hour and a half. Not too bad. I think after I get this color on, I'll take a 2-minute break, get fresh cold water because I'm almost out of this bubble stuff. Let this contrast color dry, and we can move on to the next tone. I think we're just about ready to start putting on opaque tones. Just about. But need to get a good foundation of this here snakebite leather first. And I don't know if that's showing up for y'all, but it really, once again, goes to show, like, if you're not a painter, if you're just getting into the hobby, if you play more tabletop than you paint models, a little bit of white primer and some contrast colors will do you some serious good. Because, like, in this current state, you know, from arm's length distance, I can see graystone, I can see brown vines, and I can see green leaves. And I think that's all you need in like an official tournament setting, right? 3 colors. So yeah, contrast paint. It'll do a lot of heavy lifting for you. I was definitely reticent to look into them at all when they first hit the market. But I have since learned that they accentuate painting techniques. They don't detract from them. They do not invalidate the traditional opaque layers. If anything, they enhance it. Not too far off of like glazing stuff. You're still working with translucent colors. Peganeko, ayo, what a cute model. He's been a lot of fun. And, you know, there's a whole nother skink in it. It's because I went with the seeded one for this project. I've got a whole nother skinky boy I could paint up at some point. I might have to do a Skinkus Winkus stream just to throw shade your way. This is all your fault, Pega, by the way. This is your fault, and I hate it, and it's been a nightmare. It took 4 hours to assemble and prime this model yesterday. I am floored at how much work has gone into having to assemble and prepare a modern GW model. It's not like the good old days when models look like crap and were easy to pull out of the blister and go. But it should be fun. Oh, hey. Also, how do you get like a shitload of mechs for cheap? Cheapest way to get mechs, to get a shitload of mechs, it is not super cheap. It's a bit of investment. What I would recommend, pick you up a Sonic Frozen Mini 3D printer. Not super cheap. It's an investment. You're paying some upfront costs, but I'm pretty sure it's less than $200. So for less than $200, about $200 with your resin, you get you a Frozen Sonic Mini 3D printer, and I recommend that one because I've had no trouble with it. It has just printed everything perfectly. And then you download a bunch of models from the internet and print them off. You could drop a couple bucks over at Locust Labs and get those, or if you want to save even more money, head on over to Sylogy at My Mini Factory. Matt Mason does Mechware online rips made into 3D models. That's probably the best bang for your buck, because once you've invested in the 3D printer, you're printing out models at like 10 cents a piece. Otherwise, just check out the Catalyst sets. You know, for $25 you get a set of 4 mechs. They're really... Battletech's super cheap to get into compared to the other games. Anyhow, fair enough. Already got a printer. Yeah, if you got a printer, check out Matt Mason on My Mini Factory, Sylogy. They print out really well. The details aren't as good as the stuff that Locust Labs is doing. Those are, you know, made to be printed in miniature scale and not just video game rips. So they're a little better. Big recommend of Locust Labs. Just good stuff. The selection is growing every month. Also, side note here, if y'all don't know about Peganeko, check out our YouTube channel. Really fun stuff. Mostly Warhammer. James Workshoppe products. We're going to be doing a collaboration on this model. this whole thing is her fault, 100%, making me sell out to GW. But it should be fun. We're aiming to get out a collaborative piece real soon. For those of you in the US who are up all night, the streams are usually super late over there. It's Australian time, if I recall. Yeah, this whole project is based on a collaboration. And thanks, I hate it. I don't actually hate it. GW models are alright. I just don't like giving them money, really. And then they do stuff like re-release, the Rogue Trader book. And they got, $65 out of me without any hesitation? For shame, for shame. All right. We're almost through putting on this foundational brown coating. So now we're going to work on the skink as well. 8 p.m. AEST. You shouldn't be awake. And yes. I mean, I'm guilty of staying awake to catch some of your streams from time to time, at detriment of my classes. But they're fun. I enjoy a good painting stream where nothing gets done. Any chance to rile up the host and distract them means it's a good stream, in my opinion. All right, we're making some progress here. Again, I think we're gonna get this brown on. I'm gonna hop up and stretch my butt and get a new cold bottle of bubble water out of the fridge. Check Discord and be right back. Probably be about 2 minutes once I get this layer down. Hop up, turn on the BRB screen, and then we'll hunker down for some opaque layers. What are we looking at? 1 hour, 45 minutes? Yeah, about the halfway point for today's stream. I think I'll aim for 4 hours. I do have class in the morning, but if I recall correctly, it is a critique. So, easy day. Got to submit my photos for the photography class. I did a series of, I think I may have posted them to the Discord, a series of like macro shots of my miniatures, and then made them look like they were slides, Kodachrome slides that are ancient and faded. Should be fun. I'm very excited to see what people think. If they have any constructive criticism. Although that point brings me back around to the whole talking about the art degree again. And one thing I found that really sucks is critiques. I find a lot of students are not brave enough to express anything negative about your work. And I think it's really important for people to critically examine your work. If you want to grow as an artist, you need people telling you why certain parts of your model don't work. Like why this color choice doesn't work, and how you could have done something a little different to make this stand out. I think it's really important, and I find that folks are very reticent to express that. Just saying, don't be afraid to hurt a miniature artist's feelings by sharing some advice you think that will help them grow, and to tell them why you don't think this piece they did works. I mean, of course, test the waters, because some people are a little too sensitive, or maybe having a bad day. Like it can be said in a way that's not like demeaning, if you get what I mean. And to mini painters in the audience, remember that when you're sharing your things in a public forum, you're opening yourself up. It is a vulnerable moment, and should take the good with the bad, because the bad will help you grow as an artist. I've just noticed that a lot in 11 semesters of this art degree now, that folks are very reticent to give like valuable advice. You get a lot of, I like that. Ooh, I like this one. It's like, okay, why? But then again, I guess I'm also coming at this from a kind of privileged angle as an art major. Pega, some people aren't looking for feedback either. That is true. One of the Discord channels I'm in has a place for people to share that is comments are banned in it. Comments prohibited. It is just for sharing pictures, and then there's another place on the same server for sharing models for advice and comments, and I think that's a good idea. Alright, there's some more little golden bits here. We're going to start those with this foundational layer of snakebite leather. And then we'll go back in and hit those with some tones. I don't know what to do with this staff here. Honestly, I don't really know what direction to go with it. This could probably be gold. Well, I just nicked it with the paintbrush, so it is going to be gold. And then there's like some energy stuff coming off onto this crystal. So we'll do that. In maybe the work lightning again. Box Fox. Also, people don't know what constructive criticism is anymore. Yeah, I think that is a side effect of... I think that is a side effect of our modern social media world that we live in. People kind of tailor and cultivate an image for people to see of just the positive and the good moments and the highlights. And we're not getting the raw and the real and the struggle anymore. And because of that, because of this like universal trend of showing only your best you, folks are comparing themselves to others, and also expecting that when they share their best moments that they get nothing but the best responses. I think as an artist, as well as a consumer of art. You have a duty to acknowledge the rough patches. So what I'm saying is, talk shit on someone's art next time you get a chance, in a kind fashion. Tell them why you don't like the color choices. Tell them why you think they should have gone a different approach on that, that cape, or a different blend on the highlights. Let them know why it's not working for you. Be honest. Be bold. Whether or not that person who you're talking shit to knows in the moment, you will help them grow as an artist. Or you might just push them over the edge into a mental breakdown. Oh, God, that's funny. I don't know if you've seen Twitter. That's where all the criticism and complaining goes. XD. Yeah, I think you're right. I have managed to avoid Twitter forever. Never interested me. Also, why isn't XD a emoji by now? Why is that just not just a default emoji that gets translated from text? It's probably my favorite in the pre-emoji era. And I don't use it anymore. Now that, :yum : exists. Okay, where are we at now? I missed a little bit of gray right here. We're going to fill that in. There's a few little vines that need some green. Put the gray here. And a little bit of gray. Oops, that's purple. A little bit gray here, a little bit gray here. There's some in the very back recess right here. I'm trying my best to keep this in the frame. By the way, just, it's not easy. I'm going to put some green across these vines. Right here. Get a little contrast between the brown. A little bit extra right here. And here. There's a leaf there. And then, what did I say? A little brown right here. And now, I'm going to take that 2 minutes that I threatened y'all with earlier. I'm going to stretch my butt. I'm going to get some fresh water. I'm going to put it on the BRB screen, and I will BRB in about 120 seconds, 150 seconds, something like that. So we can actually start with some of the opaque colors once I get back. I will be right back. Beep, boop, boop, beep. Boop, beep, boop, boop. Audio test real quick. Sounds okay? Testing the mic, testing the mic, testing the mic. Yeah, it sounds alright. Let's see. This headset is connected to the stream machine, and that headset is connected to that machine over there, which is running the stream. Which is running the, what do you call it? The dashboard, the studio, the YouTube studio. 2 headsets. I got my cordless wireless one that's over there. And then I got this one which is connected permanently to the little machine here. Okay. I almost knocked little Skinkus into the paint. All right, now how do we go about turning this mess into not a mess? I think we're going to start with some dry brushing. Dry brush some gray onto the gray, maybe. Start working up some, what am I looking for? Mechanica standard gray, perhaps, which has been left open. Oh my god. I left a GW pot open. Colon space close parenthesis is different from smiley emoji in my brain. Yeah, I can see that. Having been there, when texting first became a thing, yeah, I can definitely see that. Oh my god, I've ruined my Mechanica Standard Gray. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Oh, holy moly, how have I done this? You gotta be kidding me. What? I never have I ever left a GW pot with its lid open. What y'all think? Do you think I can save that? You think I can save that? Holy shit. Damn it, that's $7 down the drain. I don't know how much they are anymore. Jesus. What the hell? I just bought this. Criminy. I need gray. So it's time to be an artist and mix some colors. Box Fox, don't worry about Nightbot. Nightbot is a shit talker. I hear that Nightbot can also spam, like, join my Discord and buy my stuff, but I haven't figured that out yet. And that's why it's here. It's mostly here to weed out, hate speech. Holy crap. How does one do this? How does one do this? Well, that's fine. I have Vallejo Gray, which is the superior color anyways. Superior brand. Wow. I suck. Okay, so I could either hit this with some dry brush or start layering it on just manually. And I think the results at the end will be better if I just brush it on. So that's what we're doing. And it's gonna take ages. Maybe I just start on a different color that's more entertaining for the stream. I think that is the better call, and is what I'm going to do. So let's actually use some of this here bright magenta. And we're going to put a little bit of it out on the palette. Ew. Ew. Tragedy. Let dry, then crush up, rehydrate. It's so bad. I'm going to put a whole bunch of water in this here bright magenta. Reduce it to about a glaze consistency. Although that is getting dangerously close to that pool of brown there. How thin is this? Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so we're gonna get out. Boo the bot. I like it. I like that it's here to give y'all grief for using caps, which is behavior I encourage anyways. I'm gonna put some Magos purple out. Put a little bit of Magos purple out. And then we're gonna grab some of this here glazy stuff and we're gonna create a highlighty tone for our Magos purple. I think even more of this here. Hell, I might even create another step down. Grab some of this and mix it into that. Yeah, there we go. Somebody outside is having a bad day. All right. So let's see if I can get this in the frame of both my filming camera and the webcam. It looks like I can just about. And we're gonna start glazing on some highlighty tones here with our 3-0 round. Not a whole bunch of thought going into this, just, you know, putting it on there. You probably can't even tell an appreciable difference on y'all's end. I actually need a better, sharper brush. This is also a 3-0, but the tip is in better shape. Oh, it is in not great shape. So we're going to get a little bit of our isopropyl alcohol. I'm just going to put a little bit right there. And I'm going to work this brush tip into it. Oh, I just got a very useful message. I'll have to address it here in a little while. Let's brush. Okay, there we go. Let's free that brush up from its hardened tip prison. And we're back to putting some of this. Yeah, it's about a 50-50 mix of the Magos purple thinned contrast paint and our bright magenta color. And we're gonna just kind of work it onto the areas that were hit with the Magos purple earlier. Start give it a little, change the tint a bit. It's so translucent as well that we can just work it right over top of the spots that we added. And all of our shade will show up through it. So we're just hitting this with reckless abandon. Very light coloration. Tinting the surface rather than actually painting it. Work it onto the tip of the muzzle. Up on these jaw bones. Back of the neck. And then top of that tail. There we go. Now, I'm also going to try to get it onto these spines on the frill without getting it on the teal area. Ooh, I shake so much. And anywhere we get it in the wrong spot, I just lick the paint off the brush and use the moisten and now clean brush to wipe that away. I'm not advocating brush licking, but I'm not actually also not advocating them. So it's getting pretty late, and that's when bad things happen. I could start a new project or go to bed. Well, I generally advise getting as much sleep as possible rather than being sleep deprived. So, for what it's worth, thank you so much for stopping by, Box Fox. You've been an absolute pleasure here in chat this evening. And I hope that you have either a good sleep or a good fun project to jump into. I myself have grown to appreciate sleep more and more with my school schedule. In fact, tomorrow's going to be I got to be on campus at 9 a.m. Which sucks. I hate being a morning person. Pega says inspiration strikes at the worst times. You ain't kidding. It is absolutely the truth. We're actually getting a talk recently from a grad student who went to Stanford. And that's kind of what they were talking about, is the whole like going into an art program and doing grad studies, graduate student studies, where you're kind of like expected to put out constant output from the studio instead of getting, to ride the inspiration as it strikes you. Okay. All right, so now I'm glazing in. I put in a little more of that magenta, and I'm going to work this like brighter magenta tone in a slightly less aggressive fashion over like the knuckles and the raised areas of the musculature, like the tip of this jawbone here. A little less over the spotted zones. Just like get a little bit of color variation in this little skinky boy. Who is this feller? He's some kind of HQ unit? Are you are any of y'all Age of Sigmar players? What is a Skink Starseer? All I know about it is Skink and is $50. That's all I know. I'm assuming it's some kind of leadership unit. HQ or character. Whatever. He's got a staff. And he's important enough to be on a big old base. Let's glaze in that. Zippity doo. Zippity zap. I missed some scales, and I'm going to correct that right now. Oh, that's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Too much. Okay, much better. Yeah, he's a character. He has some fun psychic stuff. I think it can get you points to summon more skinks. Oh, that sounds fun. So you just get more swarm army. I'm assuming skinks are kind of bad individually, but you get a whole bunch of them. Which I appreciate that strategy. I recall people playing the Penal Legion for Imperial Guard, where you got really, really, really bad units that were huge, and you had this one character that could just like re-summon the entire unit once it was destroyed. So you just get like a fresh group of like 50 dudes. It's insane. Alright, so we're going back to the glazing now. I'm just using the straight bright magenta, kind of in a very targeted fashion. More or less all the spots that the skin would be thin or the light would be hitting it. So I'm hitting both areas that are catching the light, as well as areas that would have more blood flow apparent through the skin. Will it work? Who knows? Do I care? Nah. It's gonna look great either way. Let's see an under colored area I need to fix with the original Magos color. There we go. Box Fox. Corporate art is weird on one hand. Crunch and payment is awful for creative, but on the other hand, without that, we wouldn't have art for anything. Yeah. I think there's something to be said for that. And at the same time, as much as deadlines suck, I think they can be great motivators for getting some seriously good work done too. Let's see. I was preparing for a tournament for Infinity. I had about a 6-week lead up, and I was informed that there was going to be a painting contest. So that deadline spurred me to action like nothing else had in a long time. And I managed to get my set of, I think it was 17 models done in 6 weeks, and ended up taking the painting contest there. Competition wasn't super stiff, so my middling work won, and I got to pick out of the prize pool right after first place for winning the contest. Like, first place in the tournament got first pick, and then the winner of the painting contest got next. So it was awesome. I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes it takes a deadline, a hard deadline, to spur you to action, to get stuff done. Hell, even this skink I'm working on right now is for a deadline. I just kept kicking the can down the road. Admittedly, it's a looser deadline than, something like a tournament. But yeah, corporate deadlines, I imagine, keep artists honest and busy. Okay, so we got some magenta on this boy. I think I've gotten a bit away from the idea of violet, unfortunately, but happy accidents and all. I think we're going to do another layer of highlighty work. I see some white here, needs to be corrected. Let's do that. There we go. And there's some in this armpit that needs to be corrected. There we go. This little double chin, which is also a happy accident. Okay, so I want to push this paint more pink. So we need a little bit of titanium white, Liquitex ink, and we're going to put some on the palette and mix up another glaze tone. That's way too bright. Add a little more magenta and a little more and a little more. Bring these together. All right. And that's ink, so it should be pretty thin. And I just realized I got a spot here that could use a little more purpling, so I'm gonna real quick amend that. I don't know if y'all, I don't know if it's showing up on the stream camera there, but the underside of that leg is very not shaded. So I'm going to blend a little bit of this Magos purple there. Alright. And we can get back to the fun stuff here. Let's put some really light highlights on. Knuckles, tight skin areas, spots that are facing other Smasher Pass Skink Edition. Yes. Good night all. Take it easy, Box Fox. It's been a pleasure having you here. Your participation in chat is well noted by the algorithmic gods. Glaze in a little bit of this lighter color. A little bit here, a little bit there. Brighten it up. Not too worried about it being clean. Just getting work on the piece. Well, it's gone from the original intentions to Pinkus Skinkus. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Highlight up the rays here. Spines. Rays. I don't know what's more appropriate there. I think we'll put in some more Aethermatic blue too on those here in a bit. And let's take our brightest, whitest pink here and apply it to the tightest and highest areas that need a highlight. Knuckles, upward facing sections of muscle that are raised, kneecaps, little bits on the leg that are getting direct sunlight, sharp folds in the skin. Actually, let's just remove that there. The very tippy tip of that tail, the tips of these spines, etc. That jawbone, that's too bright. We'll come down a tone and hit it with that. Alright, I think that's good on the pink. Good enough. Okay, so next I want to take our Magos purple, or High Lord purple, Hive Dweller purple, and put some of that off to the side here. And we're going to do similar deal and create a tone for... And now my whole work surface is covered in tiny epoxy tentacles, so I guess I'm done in the cave for tonight. Man, I gotta say, Another Nate, you've been grinding out some projects, just going hard on them. And that has been a real thrill to see. Sorry if the drinking noises are coming through the mic. I am quite thirsty. All right, so we've got our Hive Dweller purple here. And we're going to do the same deal and take a little bit of this here, bright magenta, and create a glaze tone. Let's see, about 3 drops of water in that. Real thin. Real thin. And it's almost like a desaturated version of the Magos purple at this point. It might actually be a little too thin. We'll see. And we're going to go back in on all these little scales. I hope that's in frame. Yeah, I thinned that too much. I thinned it too much. 3 drops was 1 drop too many. Oh, I guess that's... yeah, the magenta was already really thin. Let's do 1 drop in that, or like a half drop. I think I just did it again, too. Damn it. Why am I like this? It's fine. We'll use the light glaze tone and glaze it up. Just going back and forth between colors until we get a nice mix that works. And I'm going to hit these little scales with a lighter, brighter, purpler color. Just little bits on the big scales. Not much at all. I don't need to change the color much. Just want to provide a tiny bit of depth to them. Okay. And we'll take that color, we'll add in a little more magenta. And go back around the same spots. This time kind of favoring it more towards the upper portions of them.
Access granted.
Honestly, I think that's good. 2 layers of it looks fine. Although I see a little gap in the leg here that I don't like. We're gonna revisit our Magos purple and try to correct that. There we go. All right, I think we're done with the pinky color entirely. There was a problem with the server 503. Let's refresh. Let's just refresh this whole thing. All messages. Close this. No, it's working. Seems okay. All right. So I think next step, we're going to revisit our Aethermatic Blue. And just put a little more on here. A little bit more. But we're going to focus it towards the crevices. Trying to push it down into the recesses. Basically, I want the edge of the fins to have that really nice, barely tinted color. So, luckily, the wet palette has prevented the, or kept the contrast paint from drying out too much. And when we're applying this paint, we want to be cognizant of where we stop at, because that leaves the darkest pool. So basically, we're going to put some on and spread it around and then push down into the deepest spot so that when we lift our brush, it leaves that little micro droplet where we want the darkest color. Kind of counterintuitive to working with a pencil where you lift off will be the lightest point. It's the opposite here. I'm going to hit that belly again. I want the belly very rich, very colored with the achromatic blue. So we're just going to hit it with a heavy full strength dip-a-doo of this color. And here in a bit, we'll go back and hit that again. All right, what color is next? I think if we're working on Skinkus Pinkus here, we should stick to that and get out some Fire Dragon Bright. So we're going to get our Fire Dragon Bright and start doing the same kind of process on this cloak here. And while I have this color out, I think I'm also going to put it on those feathers. I want the feathers to kind of be unified with the cloak. We'll take the feathers from Fire Dragon Bright up through Phalanx Yellow, or maybe even my Hansa Yellow here. So we're going to get the Fire Dragon Bright. We're going to put a single drop of water. That's a fat drop. I want a smaller. There we go. Little tiny drop of water in it. Thin it down just a bit. This is already a very thin color with poor coverage. So if you water it down too much, it's going to break it. But we're going to start working in this orange on the cape. This one is less a glaze and more a direct application of the color. We're just hitting the raised portions with this color. We want to put a good amount of work into this section, but not too much, because it's going to be largely hidden on the model when he's in his final position. All right. Just using that nice contrast color speed paint layer to establish our road map of where the Fire Dragon Bright needs to go on. I'm going to cover a lot of it, but not all of it. Mostly just focusing on these raised portions. I want to shift the tone of the whole thing, but I also want to get both the deepest colors from the Fire Giant orange, as well as a bit of the contrast effect. So like right here, where I've got the contrast effect from the deep recesses to the staining, I want to keep a little bit of that staining and apply the Fire Dragon Bright as a third tone. So it probably doesn't show up on the stream camera there, but like I've done 2 lines of the Fire Dragon Bright, and there's a line of the speed paint color in between. And that way I'm getting some low effort highlighted transitions, layering effect. Produces a lot of depth on the cloak there. And then of course this paint is thin enough to get some, not a glazing effect, but it's thin enough to feather it out, which is great because then you can get even more variation in your blends. Nice smooth gradient there with basically 2 colors. I mean, it's over a white base coat, but do we really consider that one of the colors present here? Okay, coming along. Fun little skinkus. I had a buddy recently asked me about doing tiny details, and I think this is great. It's visible if I zoom in the little lines we're talking about. Okay, good. I will eventually get a better setup for the stream here, seeing as the paint stream has been surprisingly successful for the platform. So I maybe next semester when grant money comes back in, I'll invest in upgrading the setup. For now, I'm working with what I got. I got some in the crack there, so brush licking to save the day. All right. I see that there's a little spot that I actually missed with the original layer of the orange contrasty color, so I'm going to reapply that right there. And honestly, that loincloth looks pretty good. I think I'm going to not mess with it too much. I put a little bit on it, a little bit of the new orange, but I feel like it'd be really easy to overdo it. So let's just nick the edges and let it be. Besides, it's kind of hidden away behind all the visual interest that's going on with homie's little face here. All right, that's orange done. And now that orange is done and we've let the Aethermatic blue dry down, we're gonna hit the Aethermatic blue one more time, just like before, only we're gonna concentrate it on the lower third of each of these areas and then push it into the crevice. That way when we lift our brush, we have a nice full strength dollop of the Aethermatic blue in the recess. It really helped to push up that contrast. Oh, we're not done with orange. Just hit me. We're not done with orange at all. I want these feathers base coated in orange. So we're just going to take our slightly thinned Fire Dragon Bright and we're going to boldly glob over these feathers, which we've managed to keep bright white, and hit them with this color. Of course, now that I'm on the back, I need to be careful not to hit the Aethermatic blue I just did. But that's fine. It's just part of my chaotic process here. Oh shit. I hit the blue. Not too bad though. Not enough to matter. Okay. Alright. Whole bunch of thread in the needle on this kit. This one's very hard to reach those little crevices and whatnot. Alright, so orange needs to dry. So we need to move on to another color. I think in the meantime, I actually want to pump up the contrast on these scales a little further. So we're going to mix up another little bit of the, what was it, Hive Dweller purple with magenta. And this time we're going to put a tiny little crescent of color towards the lower edge of all these little scales. Create a little more visual interest on those parts. All right, Skink is looking pretty tasty. Delicious even. Like he'd make for a nice chicken dinner. What is next? Could start doing the greening here. I think we might do that. How far in are we? We're almost 3 hours in. I'm wondering if it might be worth kicking my workload, spreading it out another day, and doing another stream later in the week. Like a Tuesday night deal, maybe. What's got me thinking that is that I have this portion of I have all this green, or all this gray coming up. And I think I'm about to hit all of this and just brush paint in all the gray on this here model. And I'm not sure if that will make for decent content. In fact, I'm convinced it won't. So, would it be better to soldier on and try to fill another hour tonight? Or would it be better to walk away and come back refreshed? Maybe even having done some of the gray on a preliminary. I'm down for some dry brushing action. Oh my god. Are we dry brushing? Let's dry brush. Let's do it. I'm gonna push it. We're gonna do it. One more hour. One more hour. And then I can do my laundry. Get ready to go move my car. Get ready for school tomorrow. Let me tell y'all, I hate university at this point. I need a break. I need a break so bad from class. Okay. So, dry brush, dry brush, dry brush. How about this here too flat? I think that brush will die the moment I go to use it. Let's do a makeup brush. I know I have one. That one's a little too stiff. This one seems okay. That one, maybe? I think this is the one. Let's do it. Let's dry brush. Dry brush. Because I need this. I wanted to do the glazing on this orange, but it needs to be fully dry. Dry brush. Stop spamming emotes. God. Nightbot is going to tell you what to do. Ignore Nightbot. I'll fix it eventually. Actually, I kind of like that it talks shit on people. I also like that your response to it telling you to stop spamming emotes was to drop an emote. Okay, yeah, dry brush it is. So, let's use this color that I've never used before. We're going to go over to medium sea gray, which is not quite Mechanica standard gray, but it's close enough. And we're about to dry brush a whole bunch of... Oh, it is much lighter than standard gray. Yeah, much lighter. I wonder if I have any left in this container. No, that one's also donezo. Alright. So, got my makeup brush here. I don't remember where this came from. Probably another one of those Amazon returns places. And actually, we're going to do more of an overbrush with kind of a heavy laden brush here. And we're just going to hit this with some circular motions. And try to turn it into a usable gray. I maybe should have done this before all the greens and browns, but we're just going to jab at this boy with a mixture of strokes and circles and stippling, and it is straight up rubbing off the previous color. I need to switch to a softer brush. So we're going to switch to a softer brush. And that is immediately a mistake. No, it's not. No, it is not at all. We want an overbrush. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back in and correct a whole bunch of stuff after this. It's fine. I can pretend to know what I'm doing here. fine. It's fine. It's not like I put a bunch of work on the greens and the browns. Then again, it's not like I'm not going to go over those and do them all again anyways. I think it looks good from here. Excellent. It's coming along. I'm getting gray all over all the browns and the greens, which is fine. It's fine. Perfectly fine. Oh yeah. It's almost even like a what you call it? Slap choppy foundational color. I should have done this first. I'm going to talk about this in the video. I'm going to talk about how I was going to leave and go do something else. And chat was all like, dry brush. And I'm like, okay, dry brush. And how it ruined all my work. Well, not all of it. Just the contrasty stuff. Leave it to chat to break your project. Okay. No, that is a good choice. It looks good. Looks really good. Dry brush. Who's it that whispers the dry brush? That's a Bill Making Stuff thing. All right. Looks good. Looks all right. Looks fine. Now, I can't dry brush this bit because I will get it all over where I don't want it to be. So we're going to brush apply that same color to the pedestal with a, what is this? This is my frayed 3-round brush. And while I have this color out, I want to match it to the pedestal. To the palanquin? Bill, yeah, Bill. Bill does the trapper. It is a good hook. It is really like if you're out there making content and you're like thinking about what makes your stuff, something like that, a nice little hook, something fun is really important, I think, to brand development. Little things like, you know, be happy while you're painting. Country boy in the big city. That is a phrase that never got uttered before maybe the 3rd episode I did. Never said that before. Never referred to myself as a country boy. I'm kinda not really a country boy, but I am now. Country boy in a big city. Brand recognition. Brand development. Guess what I'm saying is, you're making content out there and need to develop your own flavor. Keep that in mind. And also, repetition works. That's how jingles work. Palanquin is a closed conveyance. A sedan chair would be more accurate and sounds fancier. He's on a sedan chair. That sounds so wrong because of my associations with sedan and cars. All right, so we need to put out a little more medium sea gray. And then we need our... No, I am not going to use that color. I'm going to go with a more natural off-white, not white. I think white makes it too cold. So we're actually going to use Ushabti bone, which I called Ushtabi bone for the first year of my YouTube efforts. And we're going to do about a 60% medium sea gray, 40% Ushabti bone. The tan instead of a white imparts a little bit of warmth into the brown. Makes it more believable as far as like that it's mineral. I really don't want a super cold gray on this model because he's a super bright, happy little boy with warm colors. So, we're going to remove more paint this time and have a lighter of this tone. Again, swirling it a bit, but kind of trying to focus it in a downward fashion. I want it to, you know, be the sunlight. We'll go back in and correct all the spots that got ruined by this. Palanquin, carriage with no wheels, sedan chair, horse with no hooves. Unless your bearers are minotaurs. In this case, the bearer is magic, I presume. Same kind of magic that Slan priest thing floats around with. Man, I need to make a dry brush palette. What do they call it? Texture palette. Might do an episode about that, actually. And now I'm kind of jabbing at this big flat area because I want this area right here towards the front to have like a bloom of color in the middle of it. We're going to do the same underneath it. Hit these. Well, we're going to wipe more off the thingamabob here. We're gonna break off some of the cork is what we're gonna do. And we're gonna go in little circles and hit them edges. Cool. It's gray. It's gray with a hint of warmth to it. Alright, while we have this color out, first I'm gonna put a little moisture on my brush and try to clean it out a little bit so it don't get too clotted. I think this brush may have been used for oil paint at some point. Alright, while we have this color out, we're going to revisit our little lad. Little lad resplendent in pink. And We're gonna work in some of this brightened stone color. We're gonna kind of be jabby and imperfect about it, since I can't really get a dry brush there. A little bit of stipple action. Yeah. Concentrating it on the edges. But also a jabby, imperfect fashion. I'm going to try to evoke the same feel of a dry brush without having the space to achieve a proper dry brush. Okay. Next, we want more Ushabti bone. This time we're not going to put any extra gray on the palette, I don't think. Instead, we're just going to get a glob of the Ushabti bone and mix it in there. So now we've gone the other way. This is 60% Ushabti bone, 40%. What is it? Medium sea gray by Vallejo. That is 70.870. All right. Now, this color needs to be a much lighter brushing. So let's do that. Let's see. That's got a little moisture in it still, which is good. By keeping a little moisture in our dry brush, we prevent it from being too chalky. And now we've got this super light tone. And we're going to hit it very much focusing in a downward fashion. And then same deal, jabbing this right here. Jab, 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 jab. A little bit more. Jab, 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 jab. Same deal on the back. Ooh, that's too much, too much, too much. Wonder if I could do some kind of sponge effect that would make this stone stand out. Not really sure. All right, and this got a nice warm feel to it. Definitely not, you know, your basic chalky gray. Then we're also going to revisit our little skink and his chair. And same deal. heavily focused on the edges, but also kind of jabby. A little bit of an uneven coverage. We're evoking the dry brush feel without actually needing to dry brush it. All right. Now I'm wondering if I could get away with just a whole layer of straight Ushabti bone. Or if it's time to just like start doing edge highlight stuff to enhance the dry brush. Either way, getting that nice warm stony feel in at this layer. Okay. I think we could try it. I think we could try just a straight, very light load of Ushabti bone. I think it'll work. Let's do it. Ushabti bone, straight up. Super light coat of it, just nicking the top edges. On the back as well, and then jabbing this spot right here. Yeah, that looks awesome. Okay, dry brush, dry brush. Now I'm wondering if it's going to be worth it to put some straight edge highlights on it. I think it will. Maybe grab some of this 60-40 mix from before and a bit of that. Let's just see. Using the side of the brush, getting those edges that the dry brush didn't quite bring out as much as I'd like. Oh yeah. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Looks a lot more rich. Almost dropped it. And then I think a little bit on this upper edge as well. Roger. Yeah, it looks great. Okay. So Now, what's next? I think recovering our brownie bits. Not quite. We're going to do the edge highlight here. And then I bet my Fire Dragon Bright is bright enough or dry enough to get the blending. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so what we want to do next is take a little bit of our Hansa yellow, which is like nuclear yellow, and it has very light coverage and is very thick. And we're gonna start stirring it. Put in a little water at a time. Till it starts to come together into a usable but thin paint. Okay. I'm going to mix a little bit of the orange into it, or a little bit of it into the orange. And we're going to develop this like super bright orange glaze color. I'm going to switch over to our 3-0 round. And we're going to start glazing it on to these feathers. And it's transparent enough that we're not even worried about preserving the detail too much. Just getting it on there and adjusting the color. Because with our thin coat of the orange earlier, the Fire Dragon Bright kind of pooled in the recesses, because it was a thicker coat of it in a really thin format, so it kind of already has the veins of the feathers, or the stem, stalk, quillon. I'm not sure what the center of a feather is called now that I think about it. So we just paint right over it. And then we'll take a little bit from the other end and work in more of the straight yellow to the tips. And then kind of feather it down. It's real thin, so it's glaze work. We don't want to pool it too much. We just want to tint what we're working on. I'm realizing it's kind of hard to see, but hey, I'm filming it for the stream and I'm filming it for a video at the same damn time. All right, I'm also way out of frame. How about I do like that? That should be a little better. Still can't see much of nothing, I'm sure. Alright, now we've got our straight hands of yellow. Real thin stuff here. And we're just gonna start nicking the tip of the feathers with it. Nick the tips, that's it. There's some pooling I want to remove. I think I might even go back and do a wash of orange. Gone a little heavy with the yellow. Because I'm rushing it, not letting these layers dry fully. All right, so what do I want to do from here? I'm not really sure where we go from here, to be honest. I've got a lot of recovery to do on the model. I am definitely not going to finish it in the next half hour. I'm definitely not going to finish it in the next 3 hours. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. So I think what I'm going to do is do some recovery stuff. We're going to build back up the green here that got covered over. All this stuff that got covered over by the dry brush. Let me... Come on, camera. We're going to recover this stuff. Recover all that detail that got lost to the dry brush. We're going to put some more layers on the yellow, on these feathers here. I'm going to think about the process to start building up the gold. And, yeah. I think we made some pretty solid progress today. Pink's looking really good. Teal's looking really good. Orange looking really good. I love the warm on this dry brushy bit. But I think what I'm going to do is recover this stuff and set up a foundation for the next stream. I don't know if that's going to be tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll put a post on the Discord. But it is 7:22 on Sunday night, and I do have class tomorrow, so I think I'm going to call this stream a little bit early, about a half hour early, and set us up for the next one, and get this model done. I think as long as I have like Thursday, Friday to work on editing, I should be okay to get the video out this weekend. But we have a fun video about this guy edited down, and some glamour shots, and some fun skits. If you ain't checked out Peganeko's channel already, you should go over there and check out the work she's doing. It's a lot of streaming and occasional real fun content. Similar to what I'm doing over here lately with the stream to content ratio. So yeah, go give that channel a peek, and get ready for the fun collaborative video to come out real soon. In any case, I want to thank y'all for joining me today here at the Bullshit Corner. As a reminder to folks who enjoy what we're doing and want to support the channel, you can check out channel membership for as little as $1 a month and have access to biscuit-based emojis, a fun little badge next to your name, as well as discounts in the Threadless store. If you want to support the channel in that way at the Threadless store, check out the description down below. As well as in the description, there is a link to my Fiverr gig where you can get your own Battletech Lance painted up. I also do other models. Don't hesitate to shoot me a DM on Fiverr, and I can negotiate a contract with you. In any case, I've been Cameron on behalf of Country 5 Minis here at the Bullshit Corner 2.0. And I want y'all to remember to be happy while you're painting. And I also want y'all to remember that your participation in these live streams makes me happy while I'm painting. Anyhow, that's all I got for you this evening. Thanks for joining, and I'll catch you next time. Toodaloo, y'all.